I want you guys to give a warm welcome to our new Black Panther, Mr. David Jonnson.
Thank you to this amazing family that I have the honor and the privilege and the blessing to join.
So we recently got news about new castings, and for one, I'm excited about both of these, but I do have questions about them. So the first one we're going to talk about is the new Black Panther. T'Challa Jr. is going to be played by British actor David Jonnson. Now, David Johnson's breakout role was in The Long Walk. He's also on a television show called Industry. He was in Alien Romulus, and he was in the romantic comedy Rye Lane. Now, I actually recently watched The Long Walk. I don't know. I just randomly picked the movie and I just watched it. Really enjoyed his performance. He was a standout character in that movie. And even while watching it, I was just like, this guy's a really great actor. I'd like to see him in more things. And then the news of him being cast as T'Challa Jr. drops. I'm like, me and Ryan Coogler, we're locked in. We're pretty much the same guy. But I also, before doing this video, I went back and I watched. I was like, let me find another movie that he's been in now that we know that he is going to be the new Black Panther, and kind of see if I can get more of an idea of who this guy is and what he is capable of. Now, obviously, I watched him in The Long Walk already. That was a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more emotional. Physically, he looked like he can get, in great shape. So I was like, let me kind of see if I can find something on the opposite end of the spectrum. So I watched Rye Lane, and that is where I noticed that this guy is British. Like, I thought he was American. After watching The Long Walk, I thought he was an American actor because his accent game was like on point. Like, he did a great job of disguising that. And he was able to play like a totally different kind of guy, like a little bit more shy, a little bit more reserved, had some charisma, but he was like a little cutie patootie in that movie. So the idea that he can play like a tough, rugged guy and a little bit more soft, soft-spoken, not as confident kind of guy kind of shows his range as an actor. So I was like, okay, this is an inspired choice by Ryan Coogler. This is almost a risk for Marvel, for the MCU, to make this guy the new Black Panther. Like, he's not someone that is readily noticeable. Like, he's not the people that a lot of us would have projected. He's not Damson Idris, who a lot of people, myself included, thought that he was a shoo-in for this role. He's not Caleb, the actor from Stranger Things. He's not another, black movie star like a Lakeith Stanfield or something like that, or Aldous Hodge. He's a short king. He's my height almost. I might be taller than him. So that kind of might be a thing where Marvel is kind of rolling the dice with this actor, but they're not rolling the dice on his ability to act. I think they're rolling the dice on the public's ability to get behind him, because although he does eerily favor Chadwick and Lupita, he's not Chadwick, and that could be a problem. I think it'll be a problem at first, but I feel like once we see him more, once we see him in the suit, once we see a trailer for the movie, once we start to understand, like, hey, we're now moving forward with this character, with a new character, because we're not getting T'Challa, we're getting T'Challa Jr. So that might kind of soften the blow for certain fans that, didn't want to see T'Challa recasted. Well, now we're not getting T'Challa recasted, we're just getting his son. But with this casting brings some questions going into Black Panther 3. Now, this movie is slated to come out in December 2028, right after Secret Wars, and it's supposed to be a story about T'Challa Jr., like a coming of age, the handling of a father's legacy, as a Black Panther. And with Ryan Coogler doing this movie, I feel like a lot of people are going to be in the theaters crying. Like, Ryan Coogler has a way of bringing out the emotion when it comes to, like, parent-child relationships in movies. So where is T'Challa Jr. going to be aged up? Like, is it going to happen in Black Panther 3, or will it happen in Secret Wars or in Doomsday? because the last time we saw him, he was a child, and now he's the same age as Shuri. They're going to have to age up his mother, also, right? Or they not? Or like those are some of the questions that I have. Like Lupita is one of those actresses where it's going to be hard to make her look old. Like that's going to be a challenge. So I don't know if they're going to do that or not. Other questions I have: who is he going to see in the ancestral plane? Because it's not going to be his father. His father's Chadwick Boseman. He's dead.
Dead.
No, we're not ready for you to be dead, Chadwick.
But I am.
They're not going to bring him in. I would be stunned if they do some sort of CGI reanimation of Chadwick Boseman to give him new scenes for this movie. I don't see them doing that. So my guess is he's going to see his grandma, Queen Ramonda, Angela Bassett. I think that is who he is going to see in the ancestral plane. Other questions. Who is Denzel's character going to be? What is his role in this movie? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Anti-hero? Kind of down the middle? Is he going to be from Wakanda? Is he going to be American? There's a lot of questions around this. They didn't even announce it at Comic-Con. They didn't even mention him. So I'm very curious as to what Denzel's role is in this movie. Will Ryan Coogler force Killmonger into this movie? If you don't know, Ryan Coogler has never made a movie without Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan has been in every Ryan Coogler movie he has ever done. I just don't know how Killmonger fits in this storyline, because if T'Challa Jr. goes to the ancestral plane and sees Killmonger, out of all people, that doesn't work for me. I don't know if that works for anybody else, but that really doesn't make narrative sense to me. Like, seeing his grandma would make a lot of sense. Seeing his grandpa, that would make sense to me. But, I don't know. Seeing Killmonger as the person that T'Challa Jr. sees in the ancestral plane after Shuri saw him, it's kind of like, okay, so we're just going back to the well on this guy. Like, we couldn't come up with anything better than that. So, that's another question. And the last thing is, based on some of the reports, Ryan Coogler wants to introduce mutants in this movie. Now, we've already seen mutants as far as Ms. Marvel. I can't say that because that's a spoiler. Now, the only mutants we have seen in the MCU so far is Ms. Marvel, Wolverine from Deadpool and Wolverine, and Gambit from Deadpool and Wolverine. So outside of that, we haven't really seen a lot of mutants on the big screen. So there's only one real person that they can introduce as a mutant, and this is the only person that I want them to introduce as a mutant in this movie, and that's Storm. That's the only one. And I don't know if they need to be a love interest, because in the comics, T'Challa and Storm do get married and rule Wakanda together. But I would like to see them maybe even introduce her as a villain, as an antagonist, as someone that he has to go up against, because Storm is a handful. That's an Omega level mutant. So if Ryan Coogler does want to introduce mutants, I would suggest we introduce Storm. Oh, another mutant that I forgot to mention that has already been mentioned in the MCU, Namor. So I'd be curious to see if he survives Doomsday and Secret Wars, could they circle back and bring him back into that storyline, that universe? Because I think that's a good character. I think we can continue to use him.